The Super Mario Bros. Movie comes out next year, and it's arguably Mario's biggest foray into the mainstream attention ever. That's why I find it so odd that we don't have any knowledge of mainline games coming out next year to support the movie. Today, I don't want to predict what games could come or talk about what's likely. Instead, I want to discuss something that I think would be so cool. What if we got a video game based on the Mario movie? Now, I know what you're thinking. This is completely unlikely. And yes, it is completely unprecedented. We have never really had a Mario game based on a Mario movie, but then again, we've never had a Mario movie, well, not that one, to base a game off of. So yeah, it's uncharted, but we are in uncharted waters here. On top of that, there are no Mario games we know of coming next year, which is so odd because on top of the Mario movie, there's also the massive expansion to Universal Orlando that's going to be the Super Nintendo world. So it's clear Mario's hitting the mainstream. On top of that, Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, seems to be very involved with both of those projects, mainly the Mario movie. It seems like he has been spending a lot of time working on this movie, meaning that yes, while Illumination is the one doing the, the main animation, if I had to guess, it looks like Nintendo was in charge of the actual story. And with Nintendo being in charge of the story and them also knowing that, hey, this movie is super important to Mario's mainstream success, they would probably know that, hey, it's smart to back up this movie with a game because Mario, is mainly a video game character. He's only now crossing into the movie business. So whether or not this actually ends up happening, it definitely should exist, and that's why I want to discuss it in this video. We're going to be going over everything from the plot to the game style to the release date, so stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed right now, Seth Rogen dressed as Donkey Kong will come to your house with a gun and kill you. That is real. That is not a joke. Make sure you're subscribed. Alright, let's start off with the plot of this video game. Now, of course, if we were to get a Mario Bros. Movie game, the first instinct is, oh yeah, the plot would just be a retelling of the movie. See, these movie game hybrids have kind of existed since, the dawn of time. There have always been video games based off movies, and 99.9% of the time, they just feature a kind of weird retelling of said movie story. That definitely could work here. I mean, what we know from the story is that Bowser is trying to capture all the superstars so he can take over the world. On this map here, there are 6 different lands, those being the Mushroom Kingdom, a Sand Land, which could be Sarasa Land. This is going to be Donkey Kong Island. This is going to be Yoshi's Island, as we've seen Yoshi's in the background of one of the shots in the trailer. This is obviously Bowser's Island, and this one right here, it looks like another version of Bowser's Island, but it's actually the Snow Island with the penguins from the initial teaser. As you can see right here, there's a little bit of ice left, but it's mainly been taken over by Bowser. So 6 distinct islands, 6 different superstars. Maybe this video game will follow the plot of the movie and Mario has to go stop Bowser from taking each island star. Or alternatively, and this is where it gets really fun, this game could be an extension of the movie rather than a retelling. So again, we got 6 islands and 6 stars. It seems like Bowser's trying to get them all, and if I had to guess, what was going to happen in the movie, he doesn't end up getting them all, or maybe he does but then is defeated anyway by Mario. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we can all assume that Jack Black's version of Bowser is going to be into a world of hurt by the end of this movie because Mario always beats Bowser. That's just how it goes. So, what if at the end of this movie, Mario destroys Bowser and takes all the stars that Bowser had collected? But Mario can't just now steal those stars. He would be no better than Bowser. So what if the game that comes out after the movie takes up right where the movie leaves you off? You play as Mario going from island to island, platforming amongst the remains of what's left from after Bowser's conquest to return a star to each island and restore power to the kingdoms. That would be awesome. I mean, the plot is right there. It works perfectly. It's like the perfect type of Mario game where it's not like one of the new Super Mario Bros. Games where the plot is Bowser take Peach. There's a little bit more of a layer there, like in Mario Galaxy, how Bowser was trying to take over the entire world, or in Mario Odyssey, where Bowser was setting up a giant wedding on the moon. There's a little bit more of a, there's just a little extra additional twist there, which would make this so exciting, and the very nature of, hey, Mario's going back, to all the different kingdoms, that lends yourself to a lot of interesting platforming gimmicks, which leads us in to what would the game style be. This game would be awesome, and I think we can all agree that it would mainly be a platformer. Mario's always been a platformer, and he probably always will be a platformer, but that doesn't stop our favorite plumber from occasionally venturing outside of his comfort zone, and that's what I want to talk about today. So first off, what if this was a 2D Mario? Yes, I know, it would be weird, especially because the movie itself is in 3D, but just stick with me here. What if this was a brand new 2D Mario? Instead of selecting levels on a world map, you would just pick what kingdom to teleport to. Maybe it's the Snow Kingdom, maybe it's Donkey Kong Kingdom, maybe it's Yoshi's Island, and then instead of there being a bunch of levels within that world, they're all combined into one big level, kind of like a 2D version of Bowser's Fury. That would be awesome, and maybe as you drop off the stars or collect different, star coins or whatever, Mario is able to level up. Maybe you unlock a wall jump, or then you're able to, store more items, or maybe then you unlock a certain power up, and that's how you kind of progress. It's not necessarily a linear story, but instead it's, the mix between a Metroidvania style, like, open 2D world, but there's still a bunch of platforming there, no backtracking, because that would, ruin what Mario is, which is just pure platforming bliss. So yeah, we could get a 2D Mario thing, but we could also get the same thing in a 3D style. What if Bowser's Fury was just a taste test for what this future Mario movie game was going to be? And therefore you get a game that's the size of maybe 6 different Lake Lapcats, and you travel to each different world, platforming to deliver the star. Of course, that would be awesome too, but there is a chance that this movie isn't just a straight 2D platformer or a 3D platformer like I just said. They could always go more of the action RPG approach if they wanted to tell a more in-depth story here. Imagine a game kinda similar to the older Paper Marios. Maybe you get rid of the turn-based battles and switch them out for something else, or even keep the turn-based battles, it's possible. But instead of obviously this being, a Paper Mario game, it's just a massive Mario game. You can move the camera freely, you're walking around locations from the movie. Like, man, this would be awesome. You can go up to talk to all the toads in the Mushroom Kingdom. You can maybe even go stop by all those stores that were so, so encapsulating within that trailer. And there's clearly gonna be some platforming in here too, even if this is more of an action RPG style, just because it's so prevalent within the movie. There's so many different ways they can do this, and I think the best possible way for a Mario movie game to, come out is to kind of be a mix of all this. Give us a little bit of that action RPG, style where we can level up Mario, because I feel like that's what he's gonna be doing in the movie. Mario starts off probably, definitely not at his peak, but then he gets there by the end of the movie. Let's, allow us to do that, but also keep in a lot of the platforming goodness we've come to know and love. This mix of styles would be so encapsulating, and it's something I really, really want to see. Now, if this were to actually happen, when would it release? Well, I think we can all agree that it would, they'd try and make it come out sometime close to the movie. Of course, if we're getting a Mario movie game, you want that to come out near the Mario movie. Unfortunately, the movie comes out April 7th, and Nintendo somehow has already kind of booked around that time. Movie comes out April 7th, and Tears of the Kingdom comes out a month after that, May 12th. Would Nintendo want to have a brand new, essentially mainline Mario come out right next to one of the most anticipated Nintendo games of all time? Probably not. So this game would have to end up releasing probably, I think it's September is the earliest they could do. Theoretically, they could release it in the summer, like in July or August, but I feel like they just would not want to release a mainline Mario and a mainline Zelda within essentially the first half of the year and then not have anything for the holidays. So let's just say that the release timing of this is definitely the most unlikely part of the entire thing. If somehow we didn't know that Zelda was coming out in May, and hey, maybe we even knew it came out later in the year, so May was open, I would say that would be the perfect time for them to release this game, but I don't see them doing that when Zelda's already there. Now, technically, that's never stopped them before. I believe A Link Between Worlds and Super Mario 3D World came out on the same day. Let me fact check that. Okay, they came out one day apart apparently, but that's not really a big deal. November 21st, 2013. What a beautiful day that was. But seriously though, is this something you could see happening? Let me know down in the comments below. If not, I guess the most realistic thing they could do is have it announced maybe in January and it releases in September. That would still be pretty dang neat though, and overall, I just think this is a great idea. Again, let me know down in the comments below. Is this something you'd be into? With that out of the way, if you want to know some Mario games that are more likely and definitely will release next year, then click the video on the screen right now. It's all about Mario games coming out in 2023.